So now, okay, we go over to Netflix for the first thing that we're going to talk about on Netflix this week, and that is Physical. Well, it's not Netflix. This is actually Apple TV Plus. So Physical is a TV show that is set in the 1980s, and it stars Rose Byrne. Rose Byrne as a lady called I think Donna Rubin or something like that, and no, Sheila Rubin. And the whole thing, when it starts off, it shows her backstage at this thing, and she is dressed up in, think Jane Fonda workout video in the 1980s. So like what's that thing called? The spandex leotard. She goes into a stage, and then she goes into this studio where they're filming like a workout video, and then it sort of pauses and says 1986. Then it goes 5 years earlier, and then it shows you 1981. So it shows that what this whole thing is going to be about, where this woman came from and how she rode the wave, the sort of workout aerobics craze of the 80s to become this star and all that all meant. And you get to meet her at the beginning of the film. You get to meet her. She's married to a guy who is very, like, they're children of the 60s, so they're all like free love and flower power and all that kind of stuff. And then they've grown up and they're now in the 80s, and they're seen as like, like hippies whose ideas didn't work and all that. And her husband is now, from being an activist, is now a professor, but he is he's played by Rory Scovel. And her husband is essentially, he's a very stereotypical 70s husband, like, not thinking with. It's like he's non-thinking without realizing it. He thinks he's being like this great big like power for the people, but he treats his wife like rubbish. And you find out that she has like a secret life where she does something where should I? Yeah, I'll say it. I mean, this is the first season I'm talking about. It's been out for a while. There's 3 seasons of it. I'm on the 2nd season at the moment, and it turns out that she has an eating disorder. She has an eating disorder, and she has a really, really weird relationship with food. And you get to meet all these different characters, and the 80s setting is quite cool. There's a guy who is a Mormon who is trying to build a mall, as like, because obviously it's the 80s and commerce is booming and everything like that. And all the hippies see him as the bad guy and everything like that, but she has a weird relationship with him as well. And I think this is the kind of show that rises and falls on its performances, because what it's about really, it's about one woman living the American dream, but but like, the whole, if you work hard enough you can get to where you want to be, that kind of stuff. One woman living it, but in a very weird, messed up way. So everything in this show kind of like skews is a bit skew with and all that. The people who have money, that it's essentially the woman who wrote the show says she lived through the 80s. She had an eating disorder. She knew all that kind of stuff. And she said even though she was in California, and everybody tends to romanticize California in the 80s, it had a dark side. It had a dark domestic side that nobody talked about, and she wanted to show that bit out in this show. And I think the performances, I think Rose Byrne is somebody who I will watch do anything. I think she is brilliant. And I think she is really, really good in this. This is totally her show. She's almost in every scene. She carries the whole thing, and they have this whole thing where you hear her inner monologue throughout the entire show, where what she says to herself and what she thinks of herself, or how her mind is, and it is a bit, sometimes it's a bit close to the knuckle. Sometimes it's a bit raw, but all in all, I think it's quite good. I'm going to continue watching until I watch the whole thing, and I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. And I would say Physical on Apple TV Plus, I would recommend it. And if for nothing else, that's it. We were talking, Sean. You're going to talk about Maxine, and Maxine is 80 sets. And you were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, and talking about the trailer and talking about the music, and it would make you go, "Oh my god, 80s music." Physical will make you want to go and listen to a whole bunch of 80s music, because it's one of these shows where when every episode is about to end, because a song starts playing in the background, and okay, and they're going to cut it on the right beat and then go to black and say directed by, that's going to happen. And there's some songs I'm like, okay, yeah, knew that one, yeah, Obvious Choice, yeah, Betty Davis Eyes, yeah, and then there's someone you're like, ooh, what is that song? Google, quick, what is that song?
Shazam!
Yeah, exactly. There's some great stuff in it. So yeah, Physical, I would say, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. All right.